the Atlanta Hawks have a prime and golden opportunity as they look to improve their position in the standings from 6 to even better, as well as make it a 4-game win streak as they head to New York to take on the New York Knicks. Also, let's not forget that fan voting ends today at 11:59 p.m. So make sure that you do your best to vote your guys in to the All-Star for the Atlanta Hawks, man. But also, man, welcome to Atlanta Hawks Digest on this great Martin Luther King Day. Super excited to see you all, man. Just really wanted to come in here really quickly to give you guys a game update. Again, once again, let's not forget All-Star voting ends today. We're going to get into that. We're going to talk about all the guys that's already on that list. We're going to talk about, what we're looking at as far as the Atlanta Hawks. Unfortunately, there's only 2 guys that I can see that could possibly be on that list. I really feel like it should be 3. Because DeAndre Hunter has really just improved his game tremendously. He should definitely go in as an honorable mention or something, or reserve or whatever. But long story less long, the fan voting ends today. I'll show you the list, the updated list of who's all on that list or whatnot. We'll talk about that in the coming moments. And we'll definitely get into tonight's game versus the New York Pants. It's the New York Knicks, but you know what I mean. Really quickly, I wanted to talk to you guys about Martin Luther King Day. Of course, you see my swanky jacket, and you kind of look at like, well, what does that have to do with anything or whatnot? So, of course, myself and Martin Luther King are frat brothers. Of course, we are a part of the illustrious Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, founded in 1906. We are the first. We are the first black letter organization, so definitely wanted to give a major shout out to my frat brother, Martin Luther King Jr. Also, too, man, again, I talked about it in the last video. The Atlanta Hawks normally play here in Atlanta on MLK Day, but with all of what's going on today, you got the inauguration today. It's not here in Atlanta, but of course you got the inauguration. You have the college football not playoff, but the college football national championship between Notre Dame and Ohio State here in the Atlanta area. Of course, there's going to be a lot of Martin Luther King Day events, of course, at Ebenezer Baptist Church, the church that he definitely pastored at for the time that he was here. So it's a lot of things going on in the Atlanta area today. It's a lot of things going on today in general. If you are not at work or if you're not working, try to do something. It's a day on, not a day off. You know what I'm saying? Definitely try to do something to serve somebody else. That is the overall motive of Martin Luther King Day. He spent his life to service, not self-service, but to servicing his fellow man. So we definitely want to make sure that we are honoring Dr. King's legacy with that, and we're also doing the best we can day to day. Now, ultimately, I do not feel as though the Atlanta Hawks are doing their best when it comes to Martin Luther King Day, because they're supposed to be here. They are supposed to be here, and they're supposed to be rocking the MLK unis. You dig what I'm saying? I hope that wasn't a one-time thing. I really want them to bring those back. I don't care anything about all the other city editions other than that one. That is the one. I feel as though they should definitely stick with that one. Now, we got to talk about the fan voting. Of course, fan voting ends today at 11:59 p.m. So currently, you still got enough time to try to vote. Try to vote your players in, vote the guys that you want in. Right now, the Atlanta Hawks, we got about 2 guys. I want to say we got about 2 guys that, could possibly be in the voting when it comes to, let me get this together really quickly. Yeah, 2 guys that definitely come to mind when you're talking about voting. Yes, we're talking about Trae Young and Jalen Johnson. Unfortunately, Jalen Johnson doesn't seem like he's going to, I don't want to say he's not going to make it, because fan voting is only 50%. We got a whole nother percentage that we got to deal with when it comes to stats and things of that such. But as it stands right now, from what it looks, it seems as if, and if you guys can read it, definitely read it, do so. But it seems that Trae Young, I think he's number 5 in guards in the Eastern Conference. Now, the guards that the top 4 that lead all fan voting when it comes to the All-Star game, you got LaMelo Ball for the East. You got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for the West. And then on the the front court, you have Giannis Antetokounmpo for the Eastern Conference, and you have Novak Djokovic not Novak Djokovic. I'm sorry, Nikola Djokovic. He, of course, is on the West Coast. So with that, you already know what we're looking at. No, Jalen Johnson is nowhere to be found on this list. But that only accounts for 50%. That's a major amount. But do what you can tonight, today, whatever. Tell a friend, text somebody, email, send a carrier pigeon. Tell as many people as you can to get the voting going, because right now it just looks as if Trae Young is going to be the only representative for the Atlanta Hawks when it comes to voting. So that's just how we are looking at it. Again, I want both Jalen Johnson and Trae Young to represent Atlanta in the playoffs. Listen, I just remember back when there was about, 5 guys. That was Al Horford, Jeff Teague, Kyle Korver. You guys can let me know in the comments who the other 2 guys were that made it to the All-Star that year. I think it might have just been 4. It might have just been 4. I think it might have been 5, but I think it could be 4, one of the 2. But, again, I remember when the Hawks did that. That was amazing, and I want to see that again. But unfortunately, it's only going to be 2 guys, I feel, and it's okay. That's perfectly fine. I'm good with that. Now, have the Hawks done enough? Yes. I do feel as though the Hawks have done enough on their end, but the fans, they got to do their part as far as the voting is concerned. Now, going into tonight's game preview, again, the Hawks have a golden opportunity to beat the New York Knicks to improve themselves in the positioning. Right now, they stand at number 6 at 22-19. The Knicks are 27-16. They're at the number 3 position. The Hawks are at the number 6 position. So if the season were to end today, thankfully, the Hawks will not be in the play-in tournament. So big claps to that. But I will say that I feel as though their records don't really indicate who the true underdog in this game is. I really feel as though Atlanta, they got a kind of mind control over the Eastern Conference. Okay, they've beaten the Celtics twice at home this year. They've beaten the champion Celtics twice at home this year. They've beaten the Cleveland Cavaliers twice this year, once at home, once at their home. Again, and they beat the Knicks at home during the NBA Cup. So again, I feel as though the true underdog in this game is the New York Knicks. Unfortunately, they listed the Atlanta Hawks as like a 43% underdog. And yes, granted, you look at the records, 27-16, 22-19, totally different. But again, on this, 20-10 in the Eastern Conference, in the last, 20-10 versus the Eastern Conference, the Knicks are. The Knicks are 20-10 versus the Eastern Conference. The Hawks are 15-7 versus the Eastern Conference. And again, I've talked about it, how they've gone up against Cleveland. They've gone up against the champion Celtics. They've gone up against the Knicks, who are supposedly one of the top 3 teams in the Eastern Conference. The Hawks have done that, and they have shown that they can do that. I feel as though they are somewhat of a road warrior type team, and I don't think anybody wants to see them in the first round, hell, let alone even the second round, if healthy. So in that regard, again, I do feel as though the Atlanta Hawks are, in my opinion, favored to win this game. I think that they are on a roll right now. They got Jalen Johnson back from last game versus the Celtics. They're doing a great job. I just think the Hawks are really, raring to go. Now, in the last 10 games, the Celtics are 4-6 with 49% shooting from the field. And I think they are allowing their opponents about 111 points with 47% shooting. Now, transition that over to the Hawks. Hawks are right now 6-4 on their last 10-game stretch. That includes the 6-game stretch that they had over on the West Coast. Now, in this team game stretch, the Atlanta Hawks, they average about 117 points per game, 44.9 rebounds, and 45% from the field. So when I look at the numbers, I see that the Atlanta Hawks are shooting 45% from the field. The Knicks, they're shooting 49% from the field. I really feel like these teams are evenly matched. You dig what I'm saying? I really like to see how these guys will show up today at 3 o'clock. So make sure you guys tune in for this game. Now, the Hawks, again, I said they got Jalen Johnson back from injury, which was great. And this was in the last game versus the Celtics. But the Atlanta Hawks right now, if we're talking about the injury bug, because this season, it has seemed as if the injury bug has just been sticking around for some reason. But Zaccharie Risacher right now, he's day-to-day. For tonight's game, he's questionable per se. You know what I mean? I'll wait to see what the prognosis is with that. Of course, Larry Nance is still out with his with a hand injury, an apparent hand injury. Kobe Buffkin, of course, will be out for the season, and Cody Zeller has not shown up with the team due to personal reasons. Wish you all the best, brother. The Knicks, of course, Karl Anthony Towns, he's day-to-day with an apparent thumb injury. And, of course, Mitchell Robinson, he's going to be out during tonight's game with an apparent ankle injury. So, with that being said, I don't think Karl Anthony Towns will be playing at 100%. He's going to play, but I'm not sure if he's going to be playing at 100%. I think that could bode well for Atlanta. And also, too, if we're talking matchups, Onyeka Okongwu, I really feel as though can really do some damage versus the New York Knicks. I mean, you got to think about it. These last, 4 games from Onyeka Okongwu have just been great, in my opinion. I mean, the guy recorded a 20 and 20. Yeah, 20 rebounds and 20 points. You dig what I'm saying? I want to say it was versus. I got to check and see who it was against. But my point is that the Hawks are really starting to find their footing. And they're starting again to get guys back, and you can tell when the Atlanta Hawks are healthy, they're good, and they're able to get up and down the court. Anything's happening. Anything is possible. They can win the game. So with all that being said, my name is Walter Pollard. This is Atlanta Hawks Digest, and I will check you guys out later. And hopefully the Atlanta Hawks can bring back home a win versus the Knicks, and we can improve to 4 straight wins and possibly even further in the Eastern Conference Finals. With all that being said, I'm out. I'll see you guys on the other end. Peace.